Ever feel like you're just going through the motions? That was Maria's life. A late-night waitress, drowning in debt, haunted by dreams she'd long given up on. Each night was the same old story. Wipe down sticky tables, take orders from tired travelers, and count the meager tips that barely kept her afloat. The city's neon lights, once a beacon of hope, now just mocked her stagnant life. Little did she know, one ordinary grueling shift was about to change everything. Not just for her, but for a tiny life hanging by a thread. The clock on the wall ticked past 2 a.m. The diner was a ghost town, save for a lone trucker nursing his coffee. Weariness settled deep in Maria's bones as she dragged the overflowing trash bags to the dumpster out back. The alley was dark, smelling of stale grease and city rain. It was just another chore, another task to get through before she could finally go home to her empty apartment. But then she heard it. A sound so faint, so out of place, it barely registered over the distant city hum. A tiny muffled whimper. She froze. Was it a stray cat? A lost puppy? She dismissed it, her tired mind playing tricks on her. Get a grip, Maria, she muttered, hoisting another heavy bag. But the sound came again, a little stronger this time, a fragile cry that tugged at something deep inside her. It wasn't an animal, it sounded human. Her heart began to pound a frantic rhythm against her ribs. Who would be out here at this hour? Fighting a wave of fear, she followed the sound to the largest, rust-stained dumpster. The whimper was clearer now, a desperate, heart-wrenching plea. Her hands trembled as she cautiously lifted the heavy metal lid. The stench hit her first, a mix of rotting food and decay, and then she saw it. Tucked amongst the garbage, wrapped in a soiled towel, was a baby. A newborn, its face red and scrunched in distress, tiny fists flailing in the cold, unforgiving darkness. For a moment, the world stood still. Maria's breath caught in her throat. All the exhaustion, the cynicism, the personal struggles, they all vanished, replaced by a fierce protective instinct. This wasn't just a problem. This was a person, a life discarded like trash. Without a second thought, she reached in, her hands gently scooping up the fragile bundle. The baby was so small, so cold. She pulled the infant close, tucking it inside her jacket, trying to share her own body heat. Cradling the baby, she raced back inside the diner. The lone trucker's eyes widened in shock as she burst through the door. Call 911. She yelled, her voice shaking but firm. She gently laid the baby on a clean tablecloth, unwrapping the soiled towel. The infant's cries were weak, its skin a pale, bluish hue. Using warm, damp cloths, she carefully cleaned the baby's face, whispering soft, soothing words. It's okay, little one. You're safe now. You're safe. Paramedics and police arrived in a blur of flashing lights and urgent voices. They took over, their professionalism a stark contrast to Maria's raw emotion. As they whisked the baby away to the hospital, a police officer gently questioned her. Maria, still in shock, recounted the story, her voice barely a whisper. The alley, the cry, the tiny face looking up at her from the darkness. When they left, the diner fell silent once more, but the silence felt different now. It was filled with the weight of what had just happened. The next few days were a whirlwind. News crews swarmed the diner, and Maria's face was splashed across every local channel. Waitress Angel, they called her. The story went viral. The whole city, the whole country, was captivated by her heroic act. Donations poured in, not just for the baby, who was now stable and named Baby Angel by the nurses, but for Maria too. Her quiet, overlooked life was suddenly in the spotlight, and the world saw a hero. Amidst the chaos, Maria visited the hospital every day. She'd sit by the incubator, watching the tiny baby grow stronger. She'd read stories, sing lullabies, and just be there. In those quiet moments, she felt a connection she'd never known, a purpose that had been missing from her life. This tiny infant, whom she had saved from the darkness, was now saving her in return, pulling her out of her own quiet despair. The hospital staff, touched by her devotion, started calling her Mama Maria. Inspired by this profound experience, Maria made a life-altering decision. The world had shown her kindness, and now she wanted to pay it forward, permanently. She began the long, arduous process of applying to adopt baby Angel. There were mountains of paperwork, interviews, and background checks. It was daunting, but every time she looked at a photo of that resilient little face, she knew she couldn't give up. This was her new dream, her true calling. Months later, on a bright, sunny afternoon, Maria stood in a courtroom, her heart overflowing. The judge's voice was warm as he granted the adoption. He called her a hero, a symbol of hope. As he declared baby Angel, now named Grace, to be legally her daughter, tears of pure joy streamed down Maria's face. She held her daughter close, whispering, "Welcome home, Grace. Welcome home." Her life, once a cycle of empty nights, was now filled with purpose and love. Maria's story is a powerful reminder that heroes aren't just found in comic books. They are ordinary people who, when faced with an extraordinary choice, choose compassion. A single act of courage not only saved a life, but also transformed another, creating a family from the ashes of despair. It shows us that even in the darkest of alleys, the light of humanity can shine through, reminding us all of the power we have to make a difference. Thank you so much for watching and sharing in this incredible story of hope. If it touched your heart, please like this video and subscribe to our channel for more inspiring content. We'll see you in the next one.